I never had the go-ahead to terminate.
Let me show you how.
Jet Li is a famous film actor, a great athlete, and the youngest wushu champion in the world. The fighter has many techniques in his arsenal, but his main weapon is wisdom. Despite worldwide fame, Jet Li remains a modest and reserved person. We will tell you about the life of Jet Li in this video. How Jet Li lives and how much he earns. Jet Li, whose real name is Li Lianji, was born in the capital of China, Beijing, on April 26, 1963, and was the fifth and youngest child in the family. When the boy was 2 years old, his father died, and the mother had to raise her children alone. As a child, Li had a calm personality and exemplary behavior. Mom didn't allow her youngest son to swim, ride a bike, or anything that could in theory cause injury, and Li obeyed and didn't even try to lie to her. The future actor went to school at the age of 8 and was a year older than his classmates. The teachers loved the boy because he was honest and humble. He was even allowed to help lead daily physical exercises. Little Lianji stood in front of all the school children and counted out the rhythm with a serious look. In the summer, after finishing the first grade, the local authorities sent him along with all his classmates to the Beijing sports camp, where Li was assigned to join a wushu group. As a hardworking student, he diligently followed the instructions of the coach, which amazed him. Li was the only one of his peers to whom the coach suggested continuing training after the end of the summer vacation. So the boy began to practice daily not only the physical technique of wushu, but also the spiritual practices of this martial art. The coach had high hopes for his student and even helped the poor family with food so that Li's young body would develop fully. When he was 9 years old, Lianji was preparing for his first competition outside of Beijing and looked forward to traveling by train, but his mother was terrified that her child would be so far from home. Li even almost stayed, but it was already impossible to refuse to participate. At the performance, the boy was recognized as the best, and after returning home, he was released from classes in a regular school and transferred to a sports school. In those days, electricity was often cut off in Beijing, but this didn't interfere with the coach's training. During one of these dark training sessions, Li injured his foot but was afraid to say anything about it. With a swollen foot, he trained with everyone for 2 days until it turned out that it was a fracture. But even then, the boy was not released from classes. While the bone was healing, the boy practiced punching. In 1974, at the age of 11, Li went to the United States with the Chinese national team. There, the young athlete performed brilliantly and was noticed by US President Richard Nixon. Nixon was so inspired by Li's combat training, he jokingly invited him to become his bodyguard when Jet grew up. But he replied enchantingly, "I don't want to protect a particular person. I will protect millions of my compatriots." But despite the meeting with the President of the United States, Li still considers the main achievement of that momentous trip to be a change in his outlook and his attitude towards the American people. The boy realized that ordinary people in the United States are friendly and don't wish evil to the people of China. In the United States, Li didn't forget about his mother. He bought her a Swiss watch with the pocket money he received there. Returning to his homeland, the young athlete continued to participate in sports competitions and conquer new heights. Moreover, the 12-year-old boy often had to compete with athletes much older than him, in their 20s or even 30s. Over the next 4 years, Li, along with other Chinese athletes, traveled half the world demonstrating wushu techniques. Li strove to achieve the popularization of wushu in all countries, and he succeeded. Between 1975 and 1979, he became the Chinese wushu champion 5 times. The boy's athletic success contributed to the disclosure of his acting talent. Once at a competition, the athlete was noticed by director Zhang Xinyan. He got the idea to make another Bruce Lee out of the fighter, and what's remarkable, it was Bruce Lee who was Li Lianji's idol as a child. The boy's debut film was The Shaolin Temple, which tells the story of an orphan boy who was brought up in a monastery by Shaolin monks. The film was released in 1982 and was a resounding success. The directors didn't think twice before filming the sequel to the story in 1984, Shaolin Temple 2, Kids from Shaolin. And the final third part, Shaolin Temple 3, North and South Shaolin, appeared on the big screen in 1985. Actually, Li received the nickname Jet after filming in the Shaolin trilogy. During the filming of the movies about Shaolin, the novice actor had a conflict with the director. after which Jet decided to make his own movies and star in them. But never having had a defeat before, Jet Li faced some setbacks. His first and last work as a director was Born to Defense, which was released in 1986 and failed miserably at the box office. In addition, the actor suffered a back injury during filming. Also, the attempt to obtain American citizenship was unsuccessful. The actor began to pay more attention to his personal life and having a family. In 1987, Jet married Huang Qian, an athlete who was a member of the Beijing Wushu team and also co-starred with him in Kids from Shaolin. In marriage, they had 2 daughters, Si and Taimi, but the couple divorced 3 years later. In 1989, the action movie Dragon Fight was released, and in 1991, the world saw another amazing film with Jet Li, Once Upon a Time in China, which was followed by 2 sequels released in the next 2 years. Speaking about the early films with Jet Li, we should mention such movies as The Master, Swordsman 2, The Legend 2, Last Hero in China, Kung Fu Cult Master, The New Legend of Shaolin, My Father is a Hero, Dr. Y in the Scripture with No Words, Black Mask, Once Upon a Time in China and America, Hitman, as well as Tai Chi Master and the Bodyguard from Beijing. The action movie Fist of Legend, which appeared on the big screen in 1994, can be called a remake of Bruce Lee's Fist of Fury.
中國人唔可以入賭場，出去！呢度係中國地方，中國人去邊都得。什麼？
And the 1995 picture Meltdown was remembered by the audience for its plot. The director of the film quarreled with the famous Jackie Chan and decided to make a parody of him, openly making fun of the actor and his family in the movie. In 1998, conquering audiences in Asia, Europe, and America, Jet Li made his Hollywood debut in the blockbuster Lethal Weapon 4.
哥，很久没见了。
快又是我们的天下。
His role was first offered to Jackie Chan, but he refused because he didn't want to play a negative character. As for Jet, this was his first role as a villain. In 1999, Lee got married for the second time. He chose Hong Kong actress Nina Li Chi, who is 2 years older than her husband. They met each other back in 1989 when they co-starred in the movie Dragon Fight. The actor was still married then. Lee and Nina have been dating for a long time and legalized the relationship only after 10 years. Jet Li is sure that Nina is his soulmate and a person who understands him like no other. The couple has 2 daughters, Jane and Jada. 2 years after his brilliant work in Lethal Weapon 4, the actor starred in the dramatic action movie Romeo Must Die.
These guys find you up here, you're gonna have some serious problems, so I suggest you go out the window.
No, I like it this way.
Alright, it's your funeral.
The film paid off at the box office and Lee received a $2.4 million royalty. Another important feature of Jet is his endless love and concern for his family. In order to be with his wife in the last months of pregnancy, he turned down the role in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. In addition to this film, the actor also refused to star in The Matrix. Lee said that the cause was a fight over copyright. He didn't want the rights to the film to be completely transferred to the creators of the picture so that they could own them as intellectual property. While acting in The One in 2001, the actor managed to earn $7.5 million, even though the main role in the movie was originally supposed to be played by Dwayne Johnson.
I am Eula. I'm nobody's bitch. You are mine.
In this film, Jet worked with Jason Statham for the first time. In the same year, the actor played a role in the film Kiss of the Dragon, earning $5 million.
What did you do to me?
I put a needle in your neck.
That's it?
In a certain point. Very forbidden. It's called the Kiss of the Dragon.
An interesting fact from this film is that the tunnel in which Jet Li's character is overtaken by the French police is the same tunnel in which Princess Diana died in 1997. In one of the scenes, Jet's character attacks Pimp Lupo, played by Max Ryan. It was assumed that the dialogue between the actors would be filmed separately from the fight. But when they finished exchanging lines, the director for some reason didn't say cut, and Lee made a punch. This take was included in the final version of the movie, along with Ryan's completely genuine surprise. This incident came in handy because the filmmakers had to adjust the fights to the tastes of the audience, who wanted to see more realistic scenes. The fight scene between the characters of Jet Li and Cyril Raffaelli even had to be slowed down as the actors were moving too fast. To star in the 2002 film Hero, Jet Li agreed to a fee reduction to $11 million. Jackie Chan was offered to star in the role of the Emperor, but he refused. It was the most expensive Chinese movie by the time of its release. Another action movie with Li in the lead role, Cradle to the Grave, was released in 2003. In 2004, information appeared in the media about the death of the great actor and athlete. As it turned out, he was on vacation with his family in the Maldives during the tsunami. Fortunately, the information about his death turned out to be only a rumor. Jet survived, only injured his leg, saving his daughter. After this incident, the actor spends most of his time with his wife and children. In 2005, Luc Besson wrote the script for Danny the Dog specifically for Jet Li.
You big fucking asshole!
The movie features not only the longest-running fight scene with Li in his career, but also the most violent one. The next film starring the actor was Fearless.
没事吧？
没事儿。
这样没事。
别跑！
Its creators wanted to name the picture The Legend of the Fighter, but then it turned out that such a film already existed. For ethical reasons, Li refused to perform some of the techniques planned by the fight director. Elements such as a slap in the face or a blow with the back of the head seemed to the actor too incorrect in relation to Europeans and Americans. In addition to hand-to-hand fights, the action movie also features a scene of a battle with melee weapons. Anthony DeLongis and Jet Li broke at least 6 swords during the filming. At that time, Jet was engaged in charitable activities and has been an ambassador for the Red Cross since 2006. The athlete is a follower of Tibetan Buddhism. He even met personally with the Dalai Lama. He is attracted to the philosophy of Wushu, but according to Li, this kind of martial arts used for self-defense doesn't stand up to criticism. He strives to help young Chinese people understand what life is and shares his knowledge of Buddhism. It should be noted that not all of Jet Li's films were successful. One of the unsuccessful works was the movie War, filmed in 2007. The actor has stated in several interviews that he is not happy with either this film or its production. He went so far as to say that the film sucked and didn't trust the director Philip Atwell. Even halfway through filming, he knew he would get mediocre ratings instead of profits. In late 2007, Li returned to his homeland and starred in the Sino-Hong Kong film The Warlords. The main focus of the film was not on the martial arts but on the dramatic component. For this work, Jet received a Hong Kong Film Award nomination for Best Actor. The actor's fee for this film was $13 million. In the spring of 2007, Li founded his own nonprofit foundation, One Foundation, which aims to combat the consequences of natural disasters, including psychological trauma. In 2008, Li made his first screen appearance alongside martial arts veteran Jackie Chan in Rob Minkoff's action-adventure The Forbidden Kingdom.
You punch him again. Snake!
It's not right for snake. Perhaps eagle.
Soon Jet starred as the main villain in the fantasy action movie The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor with Maria Bello and Brendan Fraser. After a long period of work in the United States, the actor was finally able to obtain American citizenship, but he renounced it in 2009 and also renounced Chinese citizenship in favor of Singapore citizenship. Jet chose this country because of the quality education system his younger daughters needed. Also in the same year, Li starred in the military drama The Founding of a Republic and launched his own fitness program called Wuji, which consists of elements of Wushu, yoga, and Pilates. Adidas soon launched the clothing line for this program emblazoned with the initials JL. Jet's return to the film industry after a year-long hiatus took place on the set of the action movie The Expendables.
When I get hurt, the only is bigger. Because I'm smaller. When I travel, I need to go farther.
I know, because you're smaller, right?
Yes.
Which brought together such stars as Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, and Mickey Rourke. In 2012-2014, Lee played the same role in the sequels The Expendables 2 and The Expendables 3. In 2010, Jet Li became the first Asian face of the luxury Swiss watch company Hublot. In 2011, Jet created the Taji Zen lifestyle company with the Chinese entrepreneur Jack Ma, founder of the Alibaba Group. The company's main mission is health and happiness for all through the art of Tai Chi. In the following years, the following movies starring Jet Li were released: the drama Ocean Heaven, Flying Swords of Dragon Gate, The Sorcerer and the White Snake, Badges of Fury, League of Gods, and Gangshou Dao. The latest and we hope not the last movie that Jet Li starred in was Mulan, released in 2020, in which he played the role of the Emperor.
Hua Mulan, the people owe you a debt of thanks. I owe you my life.
Since 2016, the actor has been actively maintaining his personal page on Instagram, publishing his photos. A photo of actor Jet Li got on social media, in which he looked so bad that fans were seriously worried. The actor admitted that he's been suffering from hyperthyroidism since 2010, but he assures everyone that everything is fine with him. Despite his deteriorating health, the actor has no plans to leave the film industry and continues to act in various projects. "If I leave now, I will end up in a wheelchair later," he commented on his decision. "But if I don't leave, I will end up in a wheelchair, but it will be encrusted with diamonds." In his spare time, Jet plays badminton and ping pong, rides a bicycle, reads, and meditates. Martial arts superstar Jet Li turned 57 on April 26, 2020. On his birthday, he shared the best gift for his fans: family photos. In 2020, the actor's net worth was $250 million. His income from filming is the highest among Chinese movie stars. Jet's wife Nina's hometown of Shanghai is home to the actor's huge mansion worth 200 million won, about $30 million. The actor bought it in 2008, according to rumors, as a dowry for one of his daughters, but never lived in it. Since then, the house has fallen into disrepair and even was converted into a hostel for security guards. In Singapore, in Bukit Timah, the actor owns an elite bungalow for 20 million Singapore dollars, or 15 million US dollars. It is also known that the actor owns real estate in Los Angeles and lives there when he comes to the United States. Jet Li is not a big car enthusiast. He has a BMW 745 Li and a Spyker C8 Spider. Even though the actor lives in Singapore, having renounced his Chinese citizenship, he remains the favorite actor of his compatriots. What made Jet Li so successful? What do you think?
Richard Gere, how the ladies' man lives and where he spends his millions. Richard Tiffany Gere was born on August 31st, 1949 in a large American family of housewife Doris Ann and insurance agent Homer George Gere. Besides Richard, who was born the second, the Geres raised 5 children. The parents were educated but simple people and managed to give their children a happy childhood in the suburbs of New York. They tried to provide a balanced upbringing. There was room to communicate with nature because the family lived in a small rural town for creativity and sports. The future actor studied guitar with might and main, shown in the school drama club, and did gymnastics. After receiving a sports scholarship after graduation, he went to the University of Massachusetts to study philosophy and directing. At the same time, Gere dreamed of becoming a professional musician and saw himself as a world-famous trumpeter. These crazy dreams eventually prevented him from getting a degree. At first, he chased an opportunity to become a musician and then became interested in theater and dropped out of school. Finally settling in New York, Richard tried his hand at theatrical auditions, and one day he was lucky. In 1975, after a series of minor characters, he got the main role in the play The Killer's Head. On stage, he was blindfolded all the time, playing a murderer sentenced to death, which played into the hands of the young actor. At the time, he was extremely reserved and often got nervous, which hindered his skill. In this case, however, the audience heard only his voice, which literally mesmerized the crowd. The young actor was so talented that he was noticed by film producers. First, Gere appeared in such films as Report to the Commissioner, Looking for Mr. Goodbar, Days of Heaven, Blood Brothers, and Yanks. And then he got really lucky. The Hollywood handsome John Travolta refused the main role in the movie American Gigolo, and the job went to Gere with a fee of $35,000. Thanks to the role, he instantly gained a whole army of female fans. Not the least role in this was played by the fact that the actor had to act in some scenes completely naked. The image of the heartbreaker and the role of the lover boy was stuck to him, which over time began to weigh on him. 2 years later, Richard was offered the lead role, and again, ironically, the one that Travolta refused. The film, An Officer and a Gentleman, was a great success and won 2 Emmy Academy Awards
and was also recognized as one of the greatest romantic movies in history, according to the American Film Institute.
Should have warned you scuzzy female types so about the putrid dudes. Those are the ones that say they're wearing a rubber, but there's really a little hole bitten in the bottom of it.
Then, Richard's filmography was replenished with the movies The Honorary Consul and Breathless. And in 1984, he starred in the gangster movie The Cotton Club, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, in which the actor performed several parts on the trumpet, reliving his youth.
What is this, a kidnapping?
Would you like that? Because I think I'm up to it. You do move me. I don't know why, but you do move me. In unusual places.
Surprisingly, with a brilliant cast, a venerable director, and a whole galaxy of prestigious awards, the film failed at the box office. This did not prevent Richard from getting $2 million for the role. Next came the historical film King David, the drama Power, the action movie Miles from Home, the thrillers No Mercy with a fee of $1.5 million, and Internal Affairs. The real fame came to Gere when he approached the 40-year milestone. Richard didn't want to play at all in Pretty Woman, which was originally conceived as a drama. He didn't like the script, which was changed beyond recognition. He was tired of the roles that parasitized his heartthrob image, but his agent persuaded him to go to a meeting with the actress chosen for the main role, and Julia Roberts convinced him to agree. Experts still have trouble explaining the magic ingredient that made this trivial story a huge hit.
Did you really say $100 an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you don't have any prior engagements, I'd be very pleased if you would accompany me into the hotel.
With $14 million invested in production, worldwide box office was $463 million. Perhaps the reason is the chemistry that arose on the set between the performers of the main roles, because, for the sake of a happy ending, the screenwriters had to rewrite the finale of the picture. Initially, Edward did not even consider climbing the stairs to Vivian like a prince from her sweet dreams. In the original story, the rich man pushed the girl out of the car, throwing money at her. That's how the movie was supposed to end.
Gere himself dislikes Pretty Woman for many reasons and emphasizes this in interviews.
So he was very pleased with the offer of the master of Japanese cinematography, Akira Kurosawa, who gave him a small role in his anti-war film Rhapsody in August. On the set, Richard had to speak Japanese, which he did not know. He had to memorize the lines by heart. The director was very worried that he would not be able to pay the Hollywood star for the work,
but Gere assured him that he would play for free.
As a result, the director paid him a symbolic amount
and also paid for flight tickets for Gere and even offered to buy tickets for his friends if they wanted to visit Japan.
Such a friend was Cindy Crawford, who had been his wife for a year. One of the most beautiful couples of that time was formed back in 1988, and in 1991, the official wedding took place in Las Vegas. The ceremony was very modest. It was attended by only 4 witnesses, and the rings exchanged by the newlyweds were made out of chewing candy wrappers. Many consider the wedding in Las Vegas a bad sign, and perhaps there is some truth in that, since the couple divorced in 1995.
Gere and Crawford chose not to make a tragedy or a performance out of this event.
It went quickly and quietly, after which everyone went their own way.
Gere's path at that time led him to Tibet.
He met the Dalai Lama and almost became a monk, but the actor had so much life energy that he didn't fit into the novice's secluded routine. Since then, he sympathized with Tibet with all his heart. Richard spoke passionately about the plight of the region wherever he could. At one of his political gatherings, he went completely wild, promising to fight the Chinese alone if Tibet wouldn't get protection. The speech caused a murmur in the room, and only one woman found the courage to turn the situation into a joke. She turned out to be American actress Carrie Lowell, the famous Bond girl from the movie License to Kill. Very soon, Lowell became Mr. Gere's second wife. In 2000, the couple had a son, whom they named Homer after his grandfathers.
Meanwhile, Richard Gere's film career was on the rise.
He managed to appear in such films as Final Analysis, in which he also acted as a producer and the band played on, Mr. Jones, First Night, Red Corner, and Primal Fear. For shooting in the detective movie Summersby and the drama Intersection, the actor received $5 and $7 million, respectively. And in the action movie The Jackal, he co-starred with Bruce Willis. However, the guys didn't get along very well, and they swore never to act together again.
Give over, Preston. Who are you really looking for?
A pro. Calls himself The Jackal.
Oh, that fella. The mystery man.
By the way, Gere could have played the main role in the movie Die Hard, which he refused for some reason. Meanwhile, the creators of Pretty Woman decided to make money by resurrecting the duet of Richard Gere and Julia Roberts in the romantic movie Runaway Bride. The film was a success. It earned $300 million at the box office and brought Gere a fee of $13 million. Immediately after this movie, the actor flashed his dramatic talent in the role of a rich man who finds himself powerless in the face of his lover's illness and death. We are talking about the film Autumn in New York, where he co-starred with Winona Ryder.
You've got the hiccups.
Are you kidding? I would go with you in a heartbeat. You're fabulous.
Yeah?
But, uh-oh. Oh, dear.
It must be me.
Then the depressive mystical thriller The Mothman Prophecies and the drama Unfaithful were released, which together brought $30 million to the actor's bank account. Another work of Gere in the early thousands was the melodrama Dr. T and the Woman about a gynecologist. To better prepare for the role, Richard took the opportunity when his wife gave birth to their son. He studied the work of the maternity ward. In 2002, the name of Richard Gere again rumbled around the world, and the occasion was the release of the musical film Chicago.
I could be an awfully good sport.
Good, you got that out of your system. Now listen, you mean just one thing to me. You call me when you got $5,000.
The luxurious crime musical masterpiece astounded not only the audience but also the critics, who nominated it for 13 Oscars. BAFTA, Golden Globe, and Grammy Awards could not ignore the movie either. They literally showered the creators and actors of the film with awards. Gere won the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical. And by the way, the role of the creative lawyer could have gone to actor Hugh Jackman, who refused it, which he later regretted very much. Interestingly enough, the first film adaptation of Chicago was supposed to be made back in the 70s with Frank Sinatra, Liza Minnelli, and Goldie Hawn in the lead roles. In 2004, a remake of the Japanese romantic comedy Shall We Dance was released, where the actor rocked the dance floor with Jennifer Lopez and Susan Sarandon, with whom he was in a romantic relationship in the early 80s.
Beverly, dance with me?
I don't know how.
Yeah, you do.
No,
Yeah, you've been dancing with me for 19 years.
The actor devoted the following years to the films that did not receive much praise: Bee Season, The Hoax, The Flock, I'm Not There, The Hunting Party, and Nights in Rodanthe. The next takeoff happened only in 2009 when the actor starred in the incredibly touching, kind, and sad film Hachi, A Dog's Tale.
All right, come here. Okay, it's all right. Let's see your private home, all right? Go on. Stay. Go home. Go on.
While sentimental viewers around the world were crying their eyes out, its worldwide box office totaled more than $50 million. After the biographical movie Amelia, the crime thrillers Brooklyn's Finest, and The Double, as well as a documentary about one of the teachers of Buddhism, Brilliant Moon, the film Arbitrage was released, in which Gere again co-starred with Susan Sarandon.
Her teacher was Mr. James. Mr. James said, world events all revolve around 5 things. M-O-N-E-Y.
Was this freshman econ?
That was a 5th grade econ.
Richard Gere was nominated for a Golden Globe for his performance. In 2013, the marriage of Gere and Carrie Lowell broke up when the woman found out about her husband's affair with a TV presenter of Indian origin. The separation this time was a difficult ordeal for Richard. His wife attacked him with accusations and draconian financial claims. But soon, the man met a new love. By that time, the actor had 2 unsuccessful marriages and a whole series of relationships of varying degree of seriousness. Uma Thurman, Kim Basinger, Priscilla Presley. Barbara Streisand, Diana Ross, and a dozen other Hollywood beauties dated him in different years. But it seems that now Gere has stopped in his search. At one of the film festivals, he met Alejandra Siva, a journalist and the daughter of a former manager of the Real Madrid football club. The 34-year age difference did not bother the mature Silver Fox at all. That's how he was nicknamed in Hollywood for his refusal to dye his gorgeous gray hair. And after 3 years of relationships, he led his beloved one down the aisle. A modest celebration took place in April 2018 in New York and gathered only a circle of the couple's closest friends. A year later, they had a son together, Alexander, and in 2020, another heir was born, whose name was not disclosed. Now, the actor can afford to stop thinking about money and choose roles exclusively to his liking. Recently, his filmography more and more often includes roles in the auteur and low-budget movies. Among them are the film anthology Movie 43, the dramas Time Out of Mind, The Benefactor, Norman, The Moderate Rise, and Tragic Fall of a New York Fixer, and Three Christs, the melodrama The Second Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, the thriller The Dinner, and the miniseries Mother, Father, Son. In January 2023, a comedy starring the actor, Maybe I Do, was released. Richard Gere's fortune is estimated at $120 million, which makes him one of the richest actors in the industry. He had advertising contracts with the Italian car brand Lancia, the Visa payment system, the brand of carbonated drinks Orangina, and others. He invested money in a small luxury hotel, Bedford Post Inn, which is located in the suburbs of New York. Guests can meditate, do yoga, and enjoy delicious dishes made from organic produce from the hotel's own farm. Gere himself and his family live in a spacious mansion located just an hour's drive from Manhattan, which he spent $10 million to renovate in 2020. The total area of the residential parts is more than 8,600 square feet, which consists of 7 comfortable bedrooms, living rooms, and a wine cellar. The couple also chose to buy a vacant plot with a swimming pool in the yard next door to expand their land to 34 acres. Experts estimate this transaction at $700,000. Until 2020, Richard owned another residence in Pound Ridge for almost 35 years. He bought it for $1.5 million and managed to sell it for $24 million. Charming, spacious colonial-style villa with an area of more than 10,000 square feet is complemented by a swimming pool and access to a pond. This deal was not the only one that Gere managed to profit from. He bought a luxury home in Southampton for only $6.5 million in 2006 and sold it for $36 million. Richard Gere also has urban real estate. Since 2016, he has owned an apartment in New York in the Gramercy Park area, worth a little more than $2 million. The property consists of 2 bedrooms and a living room, which the actor renovated and furnished according to his taste. It is reported that his friend, actor, and TV presenter Jimmy Fallon persuaded him to make this purchase. Until 2011, Gere had another apartment which he owned for more than 20 years and sold for $2.6 million. Now, the spacious and bright apartments can be rented by anyone for $20,000 a month. Richard Gere is a committed Buddhist and a life lover. He desperately fights against injustice and stands for the restoration of peace. In addition to fighting for the freedom of Tibet, because of which he was banned from entering China for life, he is engaged in environmental, health, and human rights issues, supporting many humanitarian international campaigns. He is also outraged by current events, even auctioned off one of his cars to donate the proceeds to charity funds to help victims of the war in Ukraine. A 1999 Jaguar XK8 collector's convertible was sold for $31,000. This gorgeous car has a 5-speed automatic transmission and an engine capacity of 4 liters. At the time of sale, the mileage was 31,000. In everyday life, the actor was seen driving an Audi RS6. By his age, Richard Gere has received everything one could dream of: 3 sons, a beloved and loving wife, fame, and wealth. It seems that the saying, "a good deed is never lost," finds direct confirmation in his life path. His motto is, stop treating yourself like an afterthought. Eat delicious food, walk in the sunshine, jump in the ocean, say the truth like you're carrying in your heart like hidden treasure. Be silly, be kind, be weird. There's no time for anything else. Do you agree with Silver Fox's statement?
Thank you.
If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything interesting.